Well, all right, the end result of all that hard work in SketchUp is a couple of drilling templates that we've printed out here that can be used to do nice accurate drilling and repeatable drilling if you want to make more than one of a pedal, or to reuse the design for other pedals. Before we cut them out, just take your pedal or your enclosure that is, and hold it up to the printout and make sure that the scale printing is pretty close, and it looks okay. It doesn't have to be perfectly perfect, but should be very close, and it is. So next thing to do is to cut these out. Just use some scissors or a razor blade and a cutting mat, or something like this, which makes it really easy to cut nice straight lines. That's what I'm going to use. Okay, so the next step is to just tape the drilling template onto the enclosure. I'm just going to reference the top and try to make sure that it's centered, and use a couple pieces of tape and tape them on. So just try to be consistent with referencing everything to the top on both sides, and it should be consistent all the way around. There we go. Okay, when we're ready to start drilling, we want to punch the holes in exactly the right place. You can either use a hammer and a standard punch like this, line it up in the center of the hole, give it a couple taps like that, but I prefer to use an automatic punch, which is just a little easier to position. Position it right in the center of the hole, give it a couple of good punches like that, and that'll give you a nice starting point for drilling. All right, at this point you can either take off the paper templates, or if you choose, you can drill right through it. The benefit of drilling through it is you can remember which holes are 1/2 inch and which are 1/4 inch. Recommend starting off with a small drill bit like this one. This is 3/32 of an inch. Then proceed to a slightly larger hole like this one, and then finish out with your final 1/4 inch. Or if you're going up to 1/2 inch, use a couple more bits along the way. Don't try to jump all the way to your largest bit, because it won't make a very clean hole. Now, one thing that makes stepping up through the bit sizes very easy is to use a unibit. And this works very well to make very clean holes. And I know you think you're drilling through metal, so you think it'll be really hard, but this aluminum is actually pretty soft, and these steel bits will go through it pretty easily. So for the unibit, you want to measure each of these steps. Actually, the smallest thing it'll do is 1/4 inch, so that is the size of the hole we're going to do for all of these ones. But for the 1/2 inch, we're going to go up a number of steps, and by going up a step at a time, actually it will be easier and make a very clean cut. So for the 1/2 inch, it's the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th step up. And what I'm going to do is just mark it with some tape so I can remember where to stop. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I blow it there? Let's see. Measure twice, cut once. Yeah, I went too far. Let's go up one step. Okay, so once again, I'm going to start with the 3/32. Just get a little starter hole going. I'm going to go ahead and do the starter holes for all of them. All right, now we'll switch to the unibit, see how it goes. So once again, for the 1/4 inch, I only need this bottom step here. For the 1/2 inch ones, what we're going to do is start with the smallest one and then progressively move up until we get to the 1/2 inch. I'm going to make sure I stop at the right one. Keep checking here. Okay.
Now, I didn't want to interrupt the video every few seconds to vacuum up these shavings, but it's a good idea to vacuum them up as you go because they're pretty sharp and they can scratch up the enclosure.
So after drilling, the next step is to just do a quick check whether everything fits. So you want to just feed that through. It's nice and loose. Take a jack, no problem. 3-pole switch fits no problem. A pot. Okay, the pot is not quite fitting, so I'm going to need to enlarge that hole just a little bit. And let's also try, what's the last thing I didn't try? The DC jack. And the DC jack doesn't fit either. So let's see, the DC jack is here. I want to enlarge this one, and I want to enlarge these 2 holes. The beauty of the stepped drill bit is what I can do is just put this in and enlarge each one by 1 step. Alright, so now the DC jack fits just fine, and the pots fit just fine. So last thing to do, if you have any rough edges, which you don't really after using a step bit, but if you were using regular drill bits, you can end up with some rough edges. Just use a circular file like this. Make sure it all feels good. And then the next step is to try actually assembling the unit. Nothing has to be tight yet. Switches have a really long knurled section, threaded section I mean, so you can just use the lower nut here to adjust the height that you want it to stick up.
These nitric jacks come with multiple plastic washers, and the number of washers you use determines how far out the jack sticks out from the side of the enclosure. I'm just going to start with 2 or 3 and see how that feels. You can always adjust it later.
So one thing I've found is that this one orange wire that I've got here, I left it a little too short for it to reach from the top of the board all the way down to the 3-pole switch and make it through here. So what I'm going to need to do is cut that wire and solder on a new longer wire. Aside from this orange wire being too short, I just realized I completely forgot to solder in the LED and prepare the barrel for the LED. So it turned out that this hole, this 1/4 inch, was a little too small for this barrel to fit through as well, so I went ahead and widened it to 5/16, and I'm ready to put that barrel in place now. So That just fits in there like this. The nut fits over it. It's a little tricky to get on there in tight space. So I'm using a 7/16 socket here to just get that on there. Okay, so last thing is to deal with this wire. So
I've got the iron on at about 750 degrees, so it should only take just a quick touch with the heat to get the wire off. And it looks like the solder came off pretty cleanly, so I don't need to use the desoldering pump. So I'm just going to use some 6040 rosin core solder to tin the new wire. This is just 24 gauge stranded wire. And then I just feed that through the hole in the PCB, apply a little more solder, and on it goes.
So a couple finishing touches. You can place these on the back of the pots to avoid short circuits.
I bought these ones online, but you can easily make your own out of heat shrink or just use electrical tape. Okay, it looks like everything fits, and it's worth doing just a quick test to make sure it's all working. And the next step will be to disassemble it again and do some painting and finishing. I hope this has been helpful so far, and thanks for watching.